one that I asked in a very early age. So God was preparing hell for me because I've been asking that question since I was very young. You know, who created God? Where is this whole universe contained? Right, most people, yes, right? Or everybody at one point or another ask those questions, right? Right? And so those questions are very important, right? And tough to answer. But Stephen Hawking have answered that question. He have answered by saying that creation did not need any divine help. To him, the whole universe started in a Big Bang. And I agree with him. To me, a Big Bang does work as well. But for him, it started with a Big Bang without any purpose. It was a purposeless Big Bang. That's when we differ. But for him, there was no God there. And I don't want to get into a debate between creationists, right, versus, the Big Bang Theory. I believe in science. I think science is important. Daniel is to attest to that. Even gave him a book about science. And so I'm not here to speak against science or to speak against atheists. But I started with a sentence here that Stephen Hawking proclaimed. Creation did not need divine help. And we could debate this, right? But I think what's important is, does creation need divine help? Did you catch the distinction there, right? It's a matter of tense. Maybe, and to be honest, I don't care if creation needed divine help, if the Big Bang was started by God or not. My personal belief is that it was. There was a purpose, there's meaning. It's not just a bunch of random atoms floating around without purpose, without rhyme, or without reason. Bless you. Despite of that question of, was God the one that created or not? Creation today needs divine help. I need divine help. Yesterday, I needed divine help so badly you would not believe. You would not believe. First of all, I had to help my mom packing. She's going to Brazil, so it's a sad thing for me. So I started the day pretty sad, on a sad note there, trying to help her pack, right? Pretty sad. And then I had to drive to JFK, right? With the help of Drew there. God bless you for the assistance you gave me yesterday. So we get in the car, we're driving there, very stressful because we still needed to get a couple of things on the way to the airport so my mom could take it to Brazil. Very stressful, very stressful. We get to the airport. I was at peace a little bit because I knew that they were going to check my mom's luggage all the way to São Paulo. But I get to the counter and I try to confirm that, which was the information I got over the phone. They said, well, no, she's going to have to check her luggage out in Mexico, and then we check in. And my mom does not speak Spanish very well. She can understand a little bit. She's hard of hearing. She gets very nervous. So I get very nervous as well. So, and I'm here at the counter trying to get my mom's luggage checked in. And this young woman behind the counter was rude. She was very rude. She was not in a good mood. She was having a bad day. I believe that she needed some divine intervention and some divine help that day. And she was not getting it. And she was not giving it either. So I got kind of upset. It's okay. And I was hungry too. So we go get some food. So we sit down, we get some food. We're in the line for some food there. This woman starts giving Drew some attitude. So I jump in, and then got aggravated right, by that. Get my mom in the line of security, right? And I was gonna sit there until she goes all the way through, until I cannot longer see her, and make sure that she's going to the right gate. So she's going through, there's this young woman in front of her, and apparently she had not had a son to pack her luggage, because she had to open it up and pull things out as she's about to go through, you know, the metal detector part. So not a place for you to open your luggage. She's opening her luggage, and she's in front of my mother. So she's getting frustrated, and she starts pushing my mother's things around. And I'm at a shouting distance at this woman, right? So she's getting frustrated. She needed some divine help that day. She was not getting, or she was not in contact with, and I'm getting frustrated there too. So did the end over there? No, there was more frustration. So we're driving back here, and we get to East Main, right at the corner of Centennial and East Main. A lot of traffic there. People coming down from Daffodil Festival, right? Huge line, and we had to pull in the Centennial Plaza. Could we pull in? It was hard. Drew had to squeeze his car right between those two cars to go inside there, because people were being extremely selfish, right? And blocking the entry there with no regard whatsoever for the lights, because there are lights there, right? By the grace of God, there are lights there, but they were not taking it. They were not obeying it. We finally get in there. We get in there. I was so done that I said, Drew, is it okay if I stay in the car? I don't want to go in. I need to stay in the car. He's like, okay. But he was borrowing my glasses, my sunglasses, because he was driving. He didn't have some. So he goes in with my sunglasses, and he comes out without them. So he gets in the car, and I get really happy when he tells me, where are the glasses? I'm like, you have the sunglasses? So he goes back in, and he comes back out. It's not there. It's like, it's not there. So I get out of the car, and I go inside the store, and they were giving him attitude. Great, extremely unhelpful, not helpful whatsoever. And I'm sitting there, I'm just observing how they were treating him and the attitude they were giving him. So I was upset at him. Then I got upset at everybody treating him poorly. Then I go home, and I'm preparing for the sermon today. I read Stephen Hawking's article about God was not there. The creation did not need God, right? Well, my friend, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, I won't debate with you. But for sure, I needed God yesterday. And for sure, I came across a lot of people that were in need of some divine help, because they were not acting like divine people. They were not even acting like human beings. They were disrespecting each other. They were being mean to each other. They were being cruel to each other. Michelle. Good, yes, there is God. There is God. Because I really love those sunglasses, and I'm not attached to anything. But and on my 40th birthday, I got 40 gifts. That was the one I really, really loved. Yes, I got the sunglasses back. There is God. Yes, thank you. Yes. Yes, no. We found it. Yes, no, there is God. God was there in creation. Yes, God has been with us every day. And God is, bringing my mom back home safely. I'm sure of that. Right? Like God brought your dad home from the hospital. Right? So, dear, yes. Well, that's a very good one. I didn't have my collar. I had the cross. I had the crucifix. I didn't have the collar. But I have noticed there is a very distinctive way people treat me when I'm wearing the collar and when I'm not. Right? And I'm not going to say that it's always great, because sometimes it's bad, because people have been hurt by clergy. So sometimes people are mean to me because some pastor were mean to them. Right? But often, most often, they're kinder. they're more helpful. They will smile, right? Because they see that and they think, oh, they think of God, right? They think of creation. They think of somebody that, is there to serve, I suppose, right? Yeah.
Since I got sick and lost my hair, I just had this conversation with my mom last night. Everyone's like so polite. Oh, you can go first. Oh, you can do this. Before I lost my hair, I was like, get out of my way, It's like, honestly, like I go into a grocery store, oh, you can go first, But before that, it's like they're pushing you out of the way with carriages and stuff.
Absolutely.
So
Being
you're
extremely cruel, extremely unkind. So why is that? We treat each other so poorly unless you know that the person is suffering. Or unless you think that that person is a good person because that person has a collar or a cross or something like that, right? So I have a hard time agreeing or believing that we are just a bunch of atoms, cells, put together at random and left to our own devices. And we don't need to get into the Darwin, right, the creation, and debate versus, was it God? Is it evolutionary or not? We don't need to get into that. But I think there's got to be something more than just our drive to survive, to keep humanity and civilization as we have it. Because if we're left to our own instincts, right, and our own drive to survive, we will not help each other. We will not be kind to one another. We will not understand when we see somebody without hair that that person may be suffering, that that person may need some kind of kindness. Yes, Michelle?
That's one thing I think about every day, is I try to be kind every day. I try to treat everybody the way I want to be treated. It works
Yes.
pretty well for me. I mean, not perfect. Some people aren't remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
But I just take it in stride and say, okay, that person's fine that day. I really try my best to be kind to them. That's just my nature. I really, really try.
Yes, and talking about kindness and nature, yes, indeed. Okay, I'm not making the argument that only human beings can experience kindness, right? Animals have been perceived to express a lot of kindness and a lot of compassion towards each other. But look at human beings. The degree of danger we put ourselves into to serve each other, to help each other. It's got to be something more than our DNA and our instincts. And left to my own devices, yesterday, I swear to you, I would have, yes, let's not even go there, right? Yes. What helped me was knowing that God was inside that young woman behind that counter, that she must have been having a hard time. The checking counter, that woman also behind the restaurant counter, God created her, right? And therefore, yes, Cindy.
Did your mom get home safe?
Well, see, she's scheduled to arrive at 10 this morning, so I don't know. We started worship, so we haven't. I have faith that she has gotten there safely, because there were many times when she was traveling by herself and things were tough, and people came out of nowhere to help her. And she got there. Just like it happened to me. Once I got stranded in Korea, I knew no word in Korean whatsoever. I had very little to no money. And somebody stepped forward and helped me. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you think that God was there or not. But maybe you have had a time when you needed to know that God was there. You needed some divine help. Yes? And not to totally devalue scientists whatsoever, to really make sure I get the point across that science is important. There's another scientist, another popular one, another very famous one, Einstein, right? Yes. A couple years ago, I heard of an interview with another scientist, a physicist, and they were discussing Einstein's spirituality. And I have some words here. Let me share with you. When Einstein spoke of a mind or superior spirit behind nature, because he did not necessarily believe in an individual God, right? In a personal God, this does not mirror the biologists' debate between Darwinian evolution and intelligent design. The order behind the universe, which Einstein discerned, was manifest in the laws of physics. He's finding God in the laws of physics. Einstein rejected the notion of a creator who would interfere with the laws ordering his own creation. However, Einstein's discoveries did make possible the fields of quantum physics and chaos theory. And some scientists in those fields are now suggesting that there might be room for an involved God within the laws of physics themselves. Can I get an amen here? Science getting a little bit closer to God? Yes, somebody? Yes, thank you. I'd like to read a passage from a letter Einstein wrote when he was a bit older, and just see how you respond to it as a physicist. He wrote this actually to the Queen of Belgium, who was suffering a great grief. He said to her, "And yet, as ours, the springtime sun brings forth new life. And we may rejoice because this new life and contribute to its unfolding. And Mozart remains as beautiful and tender as he always was and always will be. There is, after all, something eternal that lies beyond the hand of fate and of all human delusions. And such eternal lies closer to all older person than to a younger one, oscillating between fear and hope. For us, there remains the privilege of experiencing beauty and truth in their purest form." A couple more words from Einstein. "It is very difficult to elucidate this feeling to anyone who does not experience it. The individual feels vanity of human desires and aims in the nobility and marvelous order which are revealed in nature and in the world of thought. Individual existence strikes him as a sort of prison, and he wants to experience the universe as a single, significant whole. The religious geniuses of all ages have been distinguished by this kind of religious feeling. In my view, it is the most important function of art and science, to awaken this feeling and keep it alive in those who are receptive to it." Essentially, the way he saw science as a way to offer meaning to human beings. Not a field to take away meaning from life and claim that life is purposeless, that life is random as atoms floating around in space. I'm almost over. I think you got what I was trying to say here. But let me rely on wonderful words, better words, and this time from Thomas Aquinas, St. Thomas Aquinas. "Every truth, without exception, no matter who makes it, is from God. If a bird got accused of singing too early in the morning, if a lute began to magically play on its own in the square, and the enchanting sounds it made drove a pair of young lovers into a wild public display of fashion and passion, if this lute and bird then got called before the Inquisition and their lives were literally at stake. Could not God walk up and say before the court, all acts of beauty are mine. All happen on the behalf of love. And while God was there testifying for our heart's desires, hopefully the judge will be astute enough to brave a question that could go, dear God, you say all acts of beauty are yours. Surely we can believe that. But what of all actions we see in this world? For it is there any force in existence greater than the power of your omnipresent hand? And God might have responded, I like that question, adding, may I ask you one as well? And then God would say, have you ever been in a conversation when children enter the room and you then ceased speaking because your wisdom knew they were not old enough to benefit, to understand? As exquisite is your world, most everyone in it is spiritually young. Spirituality is love. And love never wars with the minute, the day, one's self and others. Love would rather die than maim a limb, a wing. Dear, anything that divides man from man, earth from sky, light and dark, one religion from another. Oh, I bet keep silence. I see a child just entered the room. Yeah, let's do that. We have a reflection.
A new commandment. Love one another. Simple.
In theory.
Love one another. What can be so difficult?
How much time do you have?
Love one another. Straightforward.
Yet complex.
By this shall all know.
That is the problem.
Where's the problem?
Folk are watching.
And
It's not easy to have love one for another.
what's not to love?
People.
But it's the new command.
But what about all those people who are difficult to love?
Jesus said,
But some folk are just so difficult.
Jesus said, a new commandment.
Easier said than done.
Love one another.
Didn't he realize how hard it is?
As I have loved you.
Oh, maybe he did.
By this everyone shall know.
Oh, we have to get it right.
That you are my disciples.
The world is watching.
If you have love one for another.
So we should begin right here, practicing love, one for another. Amen? I don't know about you, my friends, and I actually know about Stephen Hawkins. He said he doesn't need it. But I need some divine help. I think the world needs some divine help. Yours are God's hands. Yours are God's feet. Yours are God's mouth. So speak the good news everywhere we go. Amen?